Hi everyone. I hope you're doing well. It's Katherine here from Tullamore Retreat Center. Today for our interview, we're interviewing Nicole Cordes from Back to Good Market and Deli in Strathmore, and she's going to be sharing with us some healthy eating tips for the holidays. I'm just going to send her an invite, but don't go anywhere. I know I'm to the Instagram Live figured out. Hey, Nicole, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you, Katherine?
Good. That went a lot smoother than the live usually goes for me. So I'm glad to see you made it in okay. Are you having a good day?
Yeah, not too bad so far. It's kind of a busy week. We're prepping for our Christmas market, which is the downtown Christmas market's Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week. So just getting everything ready for that. But it's always fun too, right? You're decorating and all that. So
That's exciting. So you have decorations outside your store, and then is there anything else special for the market that you're doing?
Well, us personally, we are doing a couple of things. So 10% off or 20% off of all my nuts because it's Christmas baking time.
Yeah.
And we're doing 10% off of all of our bulk stuff. And we're doing a bit of a draw for a piece of pottery from Chelsea, from Sam.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so just a few things like that. And then our dessert cooler will be full of stuff, which will be, everybody loves the desserts and stuff. So that's kind of our plan right now. Yeah, and then we've done some decorating inside. And we'll have some Christmas music going. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that sounds so fun because the year's gone so fast. It's hard to believe it's already that season, but it definitely is, eh?
Yeah, I know. It has gone so fast. Yeah, even with, the way that things have changed this year in business and life and all that, you think things might go slower, but yeah, it's like, wow, it's like middle of November. And here we are prepping for Christmas and thinking about, I guess, 2021 too, right? So
yeah. No, that's so true. You guys just celebrated your 5-year anniversary for the business, right? And so I wanted to ask you, I can't believe it's been 5 years since you opened and that Strathmore actually has a health food store like you guys, because it's so unusual for a lot of rural places sometimes to have stuff like this. And so I wanted to ask you why you decided to open Back to Good or how you got that idea.
Yeah, so I went back to school for nutrition in 2015. I guess it's always something I've been passionate about. I've always been into health and activity. I used to teach, step classes and stuff like that in my 20s. So this was kind of a good fit for me, I guess. And then I talked to a friend, and she had taken the schooling at the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition in Calgary, and she raved about it. And I was like, I want to do that. So I did it. I enjoyed the whole process. But it was like, okay, what am I going to do when I'm done with this knowledge? What's the best thing for me? What's the best thing for my husband and I? We are entrepreneurs. I guess we've had a couple other businesses, and we thought let's start another business and see how it goes. We seen a need in Strathmore, I guess, for that. And then the other thing, I guess, is that we have a real passion for growing food. We both came from agriculture. We both grew up on farms. And we just thought, okay, well, let's put those two together kind of thing, so that was kind of where we came up with the idea, I guess.
Yeah. Honestly, that makes a lot of sense. And I think it's so cool as a rural community having a health food store that's based on more of those agricultural aspects, right?
Yeah.
I know it's something I really enjoy when I go in to there is that there's a lot of like produce and that's locally sourced and that kind of thing. I think is so cool.
Yeah, and that is definitely was our main goal. One of our main goals was to bring a little more awareness to what we can actually grow here in Alberta, and supporting these local growers that work so hard at something that they obviously love doing. And it just tastes better. The closer to home, the better it tastes, and the better it is for you nutritionally. It hasn't ridden on a truck from California or Mexico for hours. It loses all its nutrition there. It loses its flavor. And why wouldn't you want to support your own province too, right? And So that was a real thing that we're really passionate about that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Speaking of stuff that's local, and at tasting better, do you have things that are seasonal that you'd recommend that you think taste better?
Definitely. And eating seasonally. So eating seasonally is just kind of like what I said too. It's like that's when you're getting the best nutrition from the food.
Mhm.
And also it's good for your body. It's good for you to not be eating the same thing all the time, right? So everything
Yeah,
comes into season at different times. So right now, we would suggest stuff like squash. All the squashes are in season. So good for you. Vitamin C, beta carotene, fiber. Yams, sweet potatoes, same thing. If you're like, oh, I really like to have like a regular white potato, maybe mix that up with like a yam or a sweet potato. They
yeah,
have more nutrition, different flavor. So that's a good substitute, I guess, for white potato. And then the other thing seasonally would be like tomatoes are seasonal right now too, right? So yeah, that's another one. Also vitamin C, uh, yeah, lots of potassium. So yeah, those are a few different things that I'd say we're using right now. Carrots as well would be another one. Super in
yeah.
season. Beets. We do a really nice beet and wild rice salad. I think you've had it, Catherine.
I
Your
have a
mom's
few
had it.
times.
It's probably it's one of our most popular ones, and beets
Yeah.
are so good for like your liver. And yeah,
Hmm.
so definitely lots of good seasonal root. You can see it's a lot of root vegetables are the seasonal things right now, but yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite memory growing up of food at all that sort of started your love of healthy food or anything like that?
Yeah, I was talking to my husband a bit about it this morning, and I'm like, we grew up in a time of convenience food. Like our parents, when we were kids, when they found out about convenience food, like my mom had five kids, my mom and dad had five kids, and she worked full time. So it
Hmm.
was like, what's the quickest thing to get on the table, right? So not always the healthiest, but um, I would say the one thing, big memory that I have is we always grew a garden,
Yeah.
and my dad was passionate about it. My mom, and how good the food tastes when you go out. You've grown it, you've planted it, you've nurtured it, and then you pick
Hmm.
it, and it couldn't be any better, right? It tastes so good. So that would be probably one of my best childhood memories.
Yeah.
And my husband and I have always grown a garden our whole lives together. And now,
Hmm.
like our daughter grew a garden this year.
Yeah.
So passing that down to the kids, right? Which is it's
Hmm.
important.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it changes the way a person thinks about food,
Yeah.
like everything that you eat and that kind of thing. Do you think, speaking of convenience food, so one of the things I want to ask you about is why do you think it's so hard to eat healthy over the holidays?
I think there's a lot of temptation and during the holidays, and it is hard. And people are getting together generally. It'll be different this year. Um,
Hmm.
but you're getting together with friends and family, and eating together is it's a social thing, right? So
Yeah.
what you can do is a few different things. Number one, if you are going to any sort of a get together this year, uh, try and eat. Don't go starving. Even though you're thinking, well, we're going to
Yeah.
have all this food when we get there. Don't go
Hmm.
starving. Go there. Eat a healthy snack before, so you're not getting there and right away you're into the appetizers and everything. And so try and
Yeah.
go there somewhat, not famished. And then
Yeah.
number two, I guess sugar is a big one. So sugar basically, white sugar and specifically, is so bad for you, right? And
Hmm.
it's everywhere. It's everywhere this time of year. So avoiding the sugar when you can.
Yeah.
Number one, at home, I would say try not, don't go and buy a whole bunch and bring it home if you know you're going to be the one that's going to be consuming it. And
Yeah.
baking is also like, it's a tradition for most people, and it's a great tradition. Uh, Maybe give some of that baking
Hmm.
away. So once again, you're not the one that's always consuming it, kind of thing. And
Yeah. Sort of
there's
spreading the
lots of
love
different,
around.
yeah, yeah, exactly. What a great way, right? To spread. And people are, the thing about
Hmm.
that is that your family and my family probably have different traditions of baking, and what your
Hmm.
family makes. So, and we share that, and we're like, oh, I've never had that before. That's amazing. Yeah. So, yeah, it's good.
Hmm. Do you have a favorite treat that you make over the holiday that's healthier or that you really enjoy?
My grandma made these, I wouldn't say they're super healthy, but she
Yeah.
made the gingerbread cookies that were like super soft. Like you make them early and you put them in like a ice cream pail or whatever, and they get soft
Yeah.
or as they sit. I think it's the molasses, and they have a lot of molasses in them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like a childhood. And then you would decorate them, right? Like snowmen or
Yeah.
stars or Christmas trees or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I try and make those every year. What I have changed, I guess, since I've taken my schooling would be I try to maybe substitute like different flours. Like white refined flour basically has little to no nutritional value. So maybe trying to add different flours to your baking, something like an
Yeah.
almond flour would have more nutrition, a coconut flour, maybe even a
Mm-hmm.
gluten-free flour if you're trying to avoid some gluten.
Yeah.
And then sugar is the same thing. So take your white sugar, maybe instead of 3 cups of white sugar in that recipe, you could have something, you could substitute some honey or some maple
Mm-hmm.
syrup or even like a coconut sugar because it's lower glycemic. So there's
Yeah.
definitely options out there to kind of just make it less, bad for you, obviously. But you still get to have, you should still be treating yourself. Like it's not about, not having any treats this time of year. That's
Mm-hmm.
the nice thing about it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. Can you elaborate just a little bit on a glycemic index for those of us that aren't familiar with it?
So certain foods will spike your blood sugar,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not good for your whole insulin response, as well as like your energy. So some people will find, oh, I have this lag at 1, 2 o'clock, or I always say I could take a nap
Mm-hmm.
every day.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling that way, that's a blood sugar thing. So what we say lots of times is trying to avoid the white sugar products. Number one. Number two, eating somewhat consistently. Lots of times for people, eating 6 small meals a day is much better than eating 3 large. So because you're
Yeah.
keeping your blood sugar level, right? So you're not going to have that
Mm-hmm.
up and down thing that happens. So,
Mm-hmm.
and the older you get, the more you have to be a little more conscious of that for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you have, so I know there's a lot going on and things aren't like they used to be, but do you have any dreams or exciting plans for your business going forward?
Yeah, definitely. COVID really has given me a little push to get our store online because that's
Mhm.
basically going to be the future. So, our future is definitely to have Back to Good as an online option for people where you would order probably through something like a Shopify. And then we would do a delivery once a week kind of thing to you. So that was definitely a goal for me in 2021.
Yeah.
And then we are also going to continue to expand our bulk section,
Mm-hmm.
which has been pretty well received. People are becoming a lot more aware about single-use plastics, and they're going to basically eliminate them eventually, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to help, I guess, do our part in that. You bring your clean, sanitized jar or whatever from home
Yeah.
container, and we will fill it for you. And
Mm-hmm.
then, you're not using a plastic bag
Yeah.
or other, kind of things. So pretty passionate about continuing to grow that section and hoping people
Mm-hmm.
will keep it's hard to get into the habit of bringing your containers to the store. I guess that's the one thing we
Yeah.
are, getting people to be like thinking ahead a little bit. Okay, I'm going to wash that tonight, take that to Back to Good tomorrow. I'll have it in my vehicle after work. I can
Yeah.
swing by and get my things. So yeah, that's we're going to work on that for sure.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that's really exciting, this idea of like a no waste sort of movement that you guys are
Yeah.
promoting, because it's so important. It adds up so quickly when a person takes their garbage out every week or however you're doing it. You realize all the stuff you're sort of compiling that you don't even necessarily need
Yeah.
to do these
Yeah.
things. So
Yeah,
that's really
totally. Oh,
awesome.
how much stuff is reusable, right? Containers,
Mm-hmm.
like the newest line we brought in as our laundry detergent, a dish soap, and a hand soap.
Yeah.
And those containers, like you're throwing those away, and they're huge, and
Mm-hmm.
they're so they're heavy plastic, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, it's so true, right? for those of you that have joined us, if you have any questions, feel free to send them either in the live chat right now or to me after, and I will pass them on to Nicole. I'll just give you guys a few seconds to do that. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to ask you about. I'm pretty excited about the Christmas market, actually. I didn't know that was happening this week, so I'll definitely have to check it out.
Yeah, that'll be, I think that, you know, we started that. The flower shop has always done one, and Brian approached us and said one year, do you guys want to do, you know, this market with us? And we're like, yeah, we do. That would be great. He doesn't own the flower shop anymore, but I have to say that he's definitely the one that kickstarted that. And now all the businesses, you know, joined in, and we all are trying to support each other through this, always trying to support each other, but definitely right now through COVID and stuff, it's important.
Well, it's pretty cool. As difficult as COVID has been, you know, there's been so many good things that have come out in terms of community and that. And it's really neat to see how it doesn't take doing a lot to make a big difference, even if it's just those small little things and that. So I think that's really neat. Anyway, thank you so much, Nicole, for joining me for this today. I really appreciate it. For those of you that came in late, I was interviewing Nicole Cordes from Back to Good Market and Deli in Strathmore. So make sure you go check it out.
Great. Thanks, Katherine.
Bye,
have a great day. Okay,
thanks, Nicole. You too.